Good evening. I'd like to call the City Council meeting of the City of San Bruno for November 24th to order. I'd like to begin by thanking the San Bruno Garden Club for the flowers they've presented for this evening's meeting. We could have roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Here.
Councilmember Medina.
Here.
Councilmember Ibarra.
Here.
Mayor Franzella.
Here. And if I could ask our Fire Chief Haig to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a few announcements this evening. There'll be a special meeting for the purpose of installing newly elected city officials next Tuesday, December 1st, here at 7 o'clock p.m. It is in these chambers. There'll be a city council meeting there will not be a city council meeting on the fourth Tuesday in December. That is by ordinance. A meeting is not held that day. And then the tree lighting ceremony will be held at City Park at the Veterans Memorial Recreation Center on December 3rd at 5:30. There'll be chorus and Santa will be arriving, and so it's usually a fun evening, and please feel free to attend. There's games for the kids. It's usually a real great evening. This evening we have our last meeting. I've done this for 10 years, and tonight I can't even talk. We have the poster contest winners with us who've won the poster awards for the fire prevention poster, and they were fortunate to be the winners and ride up here this evening in the fire truck. And I'm going to invite Fire Chief Haig to come forward and say a few words, and then we'll present some certificates to you. Chief Haig.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight we're here to present the 2009 Poster Award Winners Contest as selected by the school principals. First, I want to congratulate these students and all the participants for each of the schools. Also to thank the parents, school principals, and teachers for their participation in the contest. From the fire department, I'd like to thank Fire Marshal George Devendorf, firefighter paramedic Fred Garcia, and Captain Sal Campos for their dedication to the outreach program. I also need to thank Councilmember Medina for his attendance at the awards ceremonies. This year's program made an effort to engage the students and parents in drawing a home escape plan. Parents were requested to sign off on the poster so the escape plan could be shared with the entire family. The program also allowed our fire crews to interact with the students, and each class had their picture taken with the fire engine crew and truck company. Most of the schools elected to have an evacuation drill that was observed by the engine companies, and we had some very positive feedback from the program, from the principals and teaching staff. Tonight's award winners were selected by the respective principals to represent their school. With that, I'd like to ask the mayor to assist me in handing out certificates, and congratulations to all. Yeah, go ahead.
From Portola School, we have Lauren Valles. Lauren here. Congratulations.
Go ahead, get up there.
And talent runs in the family. We have her sister, Paige Valles of Portola School. Congratulations. From Allen School, we have Kathy Nakagawa. And from Bel Air School, we have Marcelina Kafoa. Marcelino. There you go. And from Crestmore School, we have Gianna Vasquez. From John Muir School, we have Charlie Chikuti. And from St. Roberts, Becky Wetland. And last but not least, from Highlands Christian School, Carlo Benson. Congratulations to each of you. To the parents, thank you for participating. This is a long-running program in San Bruno. We think it's a very worthwhile program, and we appreciate your participation. We think it just strengthens the program. So you're all welcome to stay. The council meeting will continue. And if you don't want to be bored or you have better things to do, you're also welcome to depart at this time without being rude. Thank you. Thanks, Tim. Hey,
Oh, they don't want to stay? Always something better to do on a Tuesday
Item
night.
5, review of agenda. I'm just going to move the traffic. This evening we have a report of the Traffic Safety Committee. I'm going to move that to follow item 8. So we'll just move it up a little bit on the agenda. Item 6, approval of minutes of the regular council meeting on November 10th, 2009. They'll stand approved as submitted unless there's any changes or corrections. Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved. Consent calendar, all items are considered routine or implement an earlier council action, may have been acted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion unless requested by a council member, citizen, or staff. Any items to be pulled?
I'm going to pull item E.
Okay, item E. Any other items? Action from council?
Move to approve.
Second. Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item E, accept letter of resignation from Traffic Safety and Parking Committee member Saul Weiner, declare a committee member vacancy, and direct the city clerk to initiate the process for appointment of a new member. Councilmember Ibarra.
Mr. Mayor, this is not anything specific for member Saul Weiner, but I like to, Saul, I'm over here. I just like to thank each member that for all the years of service, especially Saul for all the years of service he's had on this committee, and you know you've ruffled some feathers over the years, but you really make some good points, and we're going to miss you. Hope to see you around town, and good luck in your future. But I just really appreciate what you've done for the community. With that, I'd like to accept.
Second. Motion and a second. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your years of service, Saul. Much appreciated. Item 8, public hearings. There are none. We'll move to item 11, reports of commission, boards, and committee. Receive annual report from the Traffic Safety Committee.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council and members of the general public, I'm here to give the Traffic Safety and Parking Committee 2009 annual report. First, I'd like to thank all the other committee members. Doris Mays and Saul is here, as well as Tom Hamilton, for all their support, as well as Councilmember Medina for your support. We appreciate it. 2008 was actually a really busy year for us, and going into 2009, what we did is more kind of take a step back and analyzed what we did in 2009 and figured out how we could be more efficient. So we're still finding solutions. We're still taking on the general public's request, but we really took more of a step back, actually with the help of Steve from the staff, and brought to our attention that we can make things more efficient, and you guys are going to start seeing that. And we've implemented some things, and we've had lots and lots and lots of meetings about making things more efficient. But we still had a good year. 82 people attended. Implemented, our goal was, find solutions, implemented council-approved traffic calming programs, and work with staff to establish processes to address traffic and parking issues. One of the more visible things that we did this year was the Bel Air School. They came to us with a request to help with their traffic issues, and so we implemented, we recommended, and you guys implemented the loading and no loading zones around the school. Also, we've then recommended, you guys will see this at the next council meeting, new time limit parking restrictions for 18 parking spaces. So we helped the flow, but then nobody had anywhere to park. So we're just trying to, and again, we're trying to implement things, and we're trying to take a step back, and maybe if it does take another month, but what we're really trying to do is think through it, so when a request comes now, instead of just doing and handling that request, we're kind of trying to think a little bit more outside the box. We reviewed recommended traffic calming measures on Fleetwood Drive from the northerly city limit to Crestwood Drive to enhance traffic safety and visibility. These included additional speed limit signs, center line and lane edge striping, and additional hatching markings at all existing crosswalks, as well as refreshing paint and crosswalks. Fleetwood's kind of similar to Crestmore. So what we did again is we took our, experience and knowledge from Crestmore and tried to apply it to Fleetwood. What else could we do there? It's a little bit different because of the hill. But again, we're taking the 2008 and we adopted it into 2009. Reviewed recommended traffic calming measures in the vicinity of Parkside Intermediate School and St. Robert School, including Niles Avenue and Oak Avenue from Crystal Springs Avenue to Genevieve Avenue. This included installation and stop signs, red curbing, and crosswalks. We reviewed, recommended the installation of a new stop sign on Monterey Drive at the intersection of Sneath Lane to alleviate congestion and allow for better traffic flow. We reviewed, recommended options to mitigate substandard clear sight distance to all intersections on San Antonio Avenue from San Felipe to St. Helena. Reviewed, recommended permanent new time limit, no parking zones on San Mateo Avenue between Genevieve and Sullivan Avenues on Sundays between the hours of 7 a.m. and 4 a.m. This is for the farmers market. And then we reviewed, recommended the fire department's request for new red curbing on East Huntington's Avenue at Pacific and Scott Avenues, South Bayshore Circle at Huntington Avenue, and East Bayshore Circle at Atlantic Avenue to assist improving fire apparatus response time. And then this is really what we've been working on, currently reviewing the goals and criteria for adopting citywide parking requests for red, no curb parking. Basically, when we've had a lot of requests for these things, so we wanted to implement something where the city itself could address these and the staff could address them, so it didn't have to come in front of you guys. So once you guys adopt kind of our recommendations, red curbing, 20-minute zone, these things won't have to come in front of you, and the staff can actually review it pretty quickly. We also, with that, we're putting into place a process that, so if somebody wants to appeal it, it doesn't come in front of you guys, it comes in front of us. And if we actually agree with the appeal, we're actually then going to have the city spend time and energy on it. So we're actually pretty excited about this because a lot of the requests that we have are going to be mitigated and actually, when people want, the 20-minute zone or everything else, there's actually going to be a procedure in place for them so they know what will work and what won't. So I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Sol Wiener for his 12 years of service. It definitely makes the meetings interesting, and he does bring a lot of spunk and energy. So he will be missed. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We know that you've had a busy couple of years, and we agree with you. We're going to miss Saul, so I'm sure you're going to as well. Thank you to all the committee members for all the work you do. It's been a real important function, and I think in the last couple of years, we've really gotten the committee running in a direction where we're getting things accomplished, and there's a system and a reason for why we're doing things. And so I applaud the work that you're doing on the red curbing and those routine type items that will be coming up.
Let's do that.
Thank you. Item 9, public comment for items not on the agenda. It's the council's action to refer matters raised in this forum to staff for investigation and/or action where appropriate. The Brown Act prohibits council from discussing or acting upon any matter not agendized pursuant to state law. Just need you to give your name and street name for the record.
Ison, Pine Street. I have a few things, so I understand that I'm under a time limit. So in regards to what the gentleman before me had spoken about, I do absolutely agree that there should be some additional red curbing, blue curbing, especially yellow and green. I was recently involved with a car accident today. I think this town needs bike lanes because I'm not sure how that works with ordinances and whatnot, but somebody was double parked, told me that it was an emergency. I didn't have enough space to get through her vehicle. It was a Volvo, and I got hurt. She didn't, and she said it was an emergency. Good thing the injury wasn't that serious. Anywho, my main concern is regarding what I had spoken about last committee. Unfortunately, none of you had gotten the letter that I had sent. Ms. Bonner had gotten it. I believe you, Mr. Fresnella, had gotten it as well. If you honorable council members could please reconsider having a law commission board instated or a position for a law commissioner at least put forward for the San Bruno residents to consider, I would really appreciate it, because the excessive brutality that I've experienced with police, not just in San Bruno, but like everywhere. I'm some sort of police magnet, so I've had bad experiences, and I'm not just saying that because of what's been on the news and in the media recently. Some items were missing, and an inventory sheet wasn't taken at Skyline College. So I'm missing some textbooks and a few other items that I believe was in my possession, and a thorough inventory sheet was not taken by San Bruno, Skyline, Campus Police, or San Bruno Police Department. More specifically, Officer Wong had done it, and I don't know if this is something personal between him and I, because I had done an internal complaint regarding him, but I have issues with not just him, but it seems like the entire department has a problem with me. And I do stand for the same thing as this town. So in order to improve it, I think that some magnifying glasses should be put on and focused on the police department, because I think that there's some corrupt business going on. And especially since I've been to the clerk's office and the DA's office, both here in South San Francisco and Redwood City. I have changed my name. I'm married now. Alotat, you can call me, or Ison. It seems to me that strangers know my first name, and yet we've never met. So that's the type of experience that I'm having with people that I've never even met in the Department of San Bruno Police. Thank you for your time. Please consider that, honorable members. And congratulations to Mr. Ruane, who I just found out today won the election. I'm sure that he'll do a fine job.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Go.
Robert Rico, 7th Avenue. At our last meeting, we had discussions on the MOU between the city and Caltrain, and I went away with the impression that maybe there was going to be some minor wording adjusting, and is there any way that the public can find out if there were, and has that totally been 100% resolved between both parties?
We'll see if we can't get you an answer. If you could just give an update on that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and Mr. Reichel. The City Council authorized me at your last meeting to complete a MOU with Caltrain relative to the grade separation project that is fast completing its design and will begin construction in 2010. That MOU has been completed with a comprehensive, a very detailed review by the city attorney and her close collaboration with the Caltrain legal staff. We have made some changes to the MOU document that you saw at the meeting. Do not change the intent, the purpose, or the overall content of the document in the manner that the City Council intended. It was completed on Friday. I have signed it. It has been forwarded to Caltrain for their signature. To my knowledge, it has not yet been returned, but it is available for members of the public. Mr. Reichel had previously requested a copy, and he will be provided with one along with all members of the City Council.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
I'm not sure what MOU
That
stands.
means memorandum of understanding.
Okay, I didn't get it from Caltran, and I live close to the train tracks, so I don't know if they would be responsible for when my
They're
house
not
shakes.
sending it out to everyone adjacent to the train track. It's regarding the grade separation. And you can receive a copy, just request it from the clerk, and she'll get you a copy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and thank you also to Sal for everything that he's done for the city of San Bruno. I didn't thank him in my last
Thank you.
spiel.
Anyone else wishing to address the council? Okay, item 10A, adopt resolution accepting donation of outdoor scoreboard for Diamond number 2 from the San Bruno Pee Wee Baseball.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. San Bruno City Park Diamond 2 is in need of a new scoreboard. The existing scoreboard is 20 years old, and and it does not work properly. Staff is finding it difficult to find parts to replace that scoreboard, to make the scoreboard work due to the age of the equipment. The San Bruno Pee Wee Baseball League has offered to donate a $3,900 scoreboard for use at Diamond 2 for both the baseball and the softball leagues. City staff will install the scoreboard. Similar to the scoreboards recently donated by the Lions Club and the Rotary, the top panel would display the donor information. In this case, the top panel would state the league slogan and the author. The Athletic Field Committee of the Parks and Recreation Commission has reviewed the scoreboard proposal and is recommending council's approval of the scoreboard donation and the installation. San Bruno Pee Wee League has been a great partner and supporter of the city for 50 years, and it serves over 160 children per year. Members of the league are in attendance tonight, and any of us would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions to staff?
Through the chair.
Councilmember Medina?
Just to give a little more background to this, this is a gentleman, Dale Wilson, who was very involved with the Pee Wee League, who, if I'm not mistaken, coming up January 2nd, will be 3 years since his passing. And what had happened was the family asked, in his memory, for donations to be given to the Pee Wee League. And because that is the game that he loved and what he did. And they've had this now for a little bit of time. My understanding in doing some of my own research was that they started to wonder what to do with this money that had been accumulated in his honor. And the league got together and decided, but to give it back, as Dale probably would have wished, back to something to improve the field, its usage, and the participants. So that is why we find this here today, was from the Pee Wee League, who wanted to give back that money and honor the sport and the game that provide and do provide so much for the youth of this community.
Any other comments, questions, action from council?
I'd just like to thank Pee Wee Baseball and the family of Dale Wilson, and with that, I'd like to introduce the resolution for adoption.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ibera.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Mayor Franzella.
Aye. Item B, receive report on design of traffic calming improvements for the intersection at Crystal Springs Road and Donner Avenue. All right.
Good evening. Honorable Mayor, council members, I am here to provide you with a report on the traffic calming project at the intersection of Crystal Spring and Donner.
We can get Tom back there. He'll help us.
No? I got it. The department was previously before you, and the council already approved the installation of a traffic stop sign at the intersection of Donner and Crystal Spring. The purpose and the goal of the project was to improve safety at the intersection of Crystal Spring and Donner, and also to calm the traffic on Crystal Spring. At the last council meeting, the city council referred back the project to the subcommittee to provide the subcommittee with a design alternative for this project. The subcommittee made the request to invite to the subcommittee meeting the neighborhood, and was a joint meeting of the subcommittee with the presence of the neighborhood. 8 residents show up at that meeting, and was a very productive discussion at the site. The subcommittee and the neighborhood was provided with 3 alternative design. One was with traffic circle or roundabout, however you want to call it. The second alternative was providing, instead of traffic circle, basically raised median on Crystal Spring with the intent, and enhanced traffic safety at the intersection with the intent to calm the traffic on Crystal Spring, approaching Crystal Spring and Donner intersection. The third alternative was providing a free right turn from Crystal Spring to Donner, enhancing the pedestrian environment at that intersection, providing increased safety for the pedestrian. Was the same alternative with a little bit blown out. You can see in more detail the design. Based on the discussion at the site, this alternative was overwhelmingly supported by the residents, and the subcommittee provided the department direction to proceed with the implementation of this alternative. The estimated cost for this alternative is around $25,000. In our budget for this year was included the design, not the construction for this project, was based on the fact that, as you recall, during a prior meeting, you approved the acceptance of a Lifeline Measure A grant funding for the Bel Air School traffic calming project. Will be available, that funding, in our budget to implement this project this budget year, but next calendar year. It's our estimation at this time that this project will be implemented on not later than the summer of next year. If you have any question.
Questions of staff?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivera?
You did explain that the residents did overwhelmingly accept this option that you have up here. Although there was some concern, since there's a lot of crosswalk there, as far as crosswalks that are in relation to that new island that's there. So I'm just curious as to whether that's the best configuration for the crosswalk, or whether the crosswalk, or whether that island should probably intersect the crosswalk some, so that just in case a pedestrian doesn't make it all the way across, they can step up onto the island for some relief, other than being pretty much at the street level. I think there was some discussion about that, as far as right at that T, at the top of the new island.
How is designed, that is a raised island, and
Yeah.
I did forgot to mention that will be is designed with pavers. Doesn't show on the drawing, but will be the same kind
No,
of
I'm
paver.
fine with that design. It was just,
That creates the possibility of a island that basically, if it's necessary, the pedestrian can stop on that island. Yes.
okay.
You don't typically have an island or a median extend into the crosswalk. I mean, I'm just thinking as you look, if I look up and down El Camino, the medians are just to the edge
And
of
at
the
the,
crosswalk.
and at the edge of the
And quite often
crosswalk.
you'll see people cross halfway, and
Correct.
My other question is that I know there was also some desire to, in the future, possibly consider the median, since it is a wide area there. Is this configuration with this new stripe configuration, would we be able to, without reconfiguring, be able to, place a median there at some point?
Was part of the discussion, and this design, implementing this design doesn't preclude in the future if will become funding available, that was the next phase, in essence can be implemented any of those other two alternatives. Of course, the median alternative, the cost is around 200,000. The cost for that alternative is much higher for this. But this can be viewed as phased out implementation. This can be considered the first phase, and the other can be considered phase 2. Also, during the discussion on the site was raised by the member of the subcommittee and also by the resident that to enhance the safety of this intersection is the lighting during nighttime really is an issue. And the department worked with our lighting contractor, and I am not sure, I didn't check if maybe already is installed, but certainly as the first step, a much stronger light will be installed as the first step, and the department will monitor if that will improve the safety of the intersection and what else can be done. Also, the park department is assessing the possibility to trim those trees a little bit back to further increase the efficiency of the lighting of at that intersection, and to really improve the overall safety at that intersection during nighttime too.
Councilwoman O'Connell?
Thank you. Clara, on the south side of the Crystal Springs, where it has this triangle that has the hash marks in it, and then you cross the intersection, and then there's a red curb, and then there's all the parking.
Correct.
Is there a reason for it to be that abrupt? I'm just wondering, as you come down Crystal Springs and you see the hash marks, and then you cross the intersection, and then there's nothing, is it is it possible or is it advisable, I don't know, to have something between the intersection and where the first parking space is? I don't know if I'm being very clear, but it just seems abrupt to have that part hashed off, and then once you're across there, there's nothing. Maybe I should show it to you.
The intent for that safety zone is to really improve visibility for pedestrian, and that's the intent for that red curb at that location also, to make sure that will be enough visibility for the car approaching that intersection to see the pedestrian on the crosswalk.
Okay. Okay. I was just wondering if that was something you think that was thought of.
I think you have a plan before you that really addresses the problem. It's going to aesthetically work, and I really think you're going to much improve the exiting on Donner. When you're at that stop sign on Donner, the way it currently is you sit back from the line of traffic, and in the morning and in the evening hours, there's a steady stream of traffic, and cars are racing out there in the morning trying to get ahead of the traffic coming up, and there's usually a stream of half dozen cars before someone can get through, and they can't really get a good clearance on that until they pull out into the lane of traffic, and this will correct that problem. I think this is an excellent plan, and it'll work, and aesthetically it'll look well.
Through the chair.
Councilmember
Medina. Just very quick, I found what was the most intriguing was, even though it was a very cold night, cold day, that it was interesting actually going to the site and having the subcommittee, Councilmember Ibarra and I, meet with staff and the residents, and actually being able to visually be there and hear the other concerns that they had. And what I was most impressed was two things. A, the residents there and staff, and I think the subcommittee all came to the same conclusion, and that doesn't always happen often. So everybody believed very strongly on the plan that's before us. And the second thing is the residents that were there were also very mindful of the cost to the community, and that was on their mind as well. And they wanted something that was reasonable, cost-effective, but also took care of the problem. And if there was a concern later down the line, they knew they could come back, and if things needed to be tweaked a little bit. So I was very happy with the process, because I think going out there and engaging with the residents and all of us seeing things one way, which is before us, was very enjoyable and a pleasure to have worked with as we did this, and it is long overdue. And City Manager Jackson, do you think we need a motion, or is this just okay just to accept, or should there be a motion?
It would be helpful if the council made a motion. That would be great.
So move to go ahead and approve and move forward.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item
Thank you.
C, adopt resolution terminating public emergency sewer repair in the vicinity of 1200 block of Montgomery Avenue. And City Manager?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this report follows on several previous reports that you've received regarding this particular situation. I won't restate the background to this situation, except very briefly that it involves a necessary repair to a sewer line and associated laterals in the 1200 block of Montgomery Avenue that was suspected and I believe being confirmed as the cause, or at least a cause, of leakage of our sanitary sewer system into an underground utility vault operated by AT&T. The item before you tonight is to approve a resolution that terminates that emergency. And I want to talk briefly about that and give you the current update on the situation and the repair work. The physical repair work has been successfully completed. And the repair work, as I believe I reported to the council at our last regular meeting, included not only repairs to the main line, but also, as we reported might be necessary and was in fact necessary, to the associated laterals. There was a great deal of deterioration both in the main line as well as in the laterals that needed to be fully rectified in order to resolve the situation. That said, the termination of the emergency requires not only the completion of the work, but your acknowledgement of the additional associated normal project closeout work that typically occurs for some weeks following the actual completion of the construction work. And I would like to propose to you tonight, in addition to the resolution that you have in front of you, to acknowledge that there will be additional invoices to be paid, reconciliation with the contractor from a financial and reporting standpoint, and it will be necessary to complete paperwork associated with the final project closeout. So while the construction work has been completed and the emergency has been resolved, I would like to suggest the following be added to the resolution that you have tonight so that we may officially terminate the emergency and not continue providing these biweekly reports to the council. Specifically, I'm suggesting that we add an additional clause at the end of the resolution as follows. Be it further resolved that the city manager is authorized to make payments to the contractor that performed the emergency work and to assure that all necessary project closeout paperwork is completed. That clause would simply acknowledge that there are additional associated activities that are related to the repair work, but as the previous clause indicates, that the emergency conditions themselves have been resolved with the completion of the project construction.
Any questions?
Happy to answer any questions.
Through the chair, I was just curious, and so it's 150,000 plus, what you're saying, possibly?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
The estimated cost of the work is $150,000, up to $150,000, and the contract for the work is in a not to exceed amount of $150,000. It's my understanding at this point, as I believe we previously reported to you, that the construction work, the final cost of the work is in the between $140,000 and $150,000. But what is typical is that the invoices follow and payments then follow, sometimes by a number of weeks, the receipt of invoices, which all happens generally both throughout the construction but continuing past the end of the construction.
I was going to say, I'm considering the amount of work and then 30-plus mains being reconnected, and then I think it was a reasonable amount of money considering the project. Does any of this money fall into an insurance or self-insurance category? Are we applying for that, or is that something that we're considering, or is that we don't qualify?
Unfortunately, the answer is no, that it is a routine type of repair and I believe that there is no official claim that has been made by AT&T for damage to their property. I would need to double check that with the city attorney to be absolutely certain. But in any case, at least the majority of the work falls below our self-insurance retention of $100,000.
Does any of this fall within, would any of it be eligible for redevelopment funds? I mean, it's within the redevelopment area and you're improving infrastructure, which would be an authorized use of redevelopment funds. It's probably a little ahead of the schedule you'd want to do it, but it's been done now.
We did not research that. We have proposed and have intended to utilize the sewer capital funds, wastewater capital funds. This is whether it's eligible and could be used for redevelopment, whether redevelopment funds could be used, I would like to look into that because this is more typically the type of work that, had we known this was happening, we would have programmed it as part of the capital, as part of the normal capital project through the wastewater enterprise. So I can certainly look into that and provide a subsequent information to the City Council.
Any other questions of
Through the
staff?
chair, the additional language you're asking to be added to the resolution, you use the word associated activities. For what I heard, is that accurate, or am I? No?
No, I'd be happy to read it again if you'd like.
Well, you were talking there's activities that must take place. Is that what, there's some reference, or?
Payments. There are payments to the contractor and project closeout paperwork.
Okay, so mainly what you're referring to within that verbiage is paperwork process, not additional potential funds or other things?
Absolutely,
Okay.
Absolutely. I hope I haven't created confusion.
No, I just wanted to be clear for myself, since it's not before me, what the verbiage is intended.
That is correct. There is no additional expenditure and no additional physical construction work contemplated with respect to this emergency situation and the repairs that we undertook.
Thank you.
Any other questions or action from council?
I'd like to introduce the resolution.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Ibera.
Aye.
Mayor Franzella.
Aye.
Excuse me, do I need to
That's with the change.
make sure that the additional clause is included?
We assume that was part of the motion. The clerk has that, right? That the additional language was part of the motion.
Thank you. Item D, adopt resolution authorizing the purchase of additional equipment to complete the construction of the city's data and voice network as part of the commercial data and voice services project in the amount of $40,000.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Several months ago, the City Council approved a substantial investment for the commercial services voice and data project implemented by the Cable TV Department. And as you know, the project is designed to build the infrastructure to be able to support VoIP and data services for an untapped commercial market here in San Bruno. The advantages of this product over current telephone providers include enhanced voice service features, high-speed data services, and reduced telephone service costs to businesses. The city's need and desire to upgrade their current phone system, coupled with the enhanced features and cost savings generated from taking advantage of this technology, prompted the city to invest in this opportunity as well. And as a side benefit, as the first commercial service partner of San Bruno Cable TV, the City of San Bruno will also be able to demonstrate to other potential commercial customers the advantages and reliability of this product. The overall commercial services project has been progressing on schedule, and the city's transition to our commercial product is currently underway as well. During a more detailed analysis and a final discovery phase of the city's transition, it brought to light some new infrastructure issues due to some unique specific department needs. And those items are identified in the staff report before you. The city has been setting aside funds for this project, and the total cost of $40,000 that we're asking for tonight is currently available in equipment reserves. Al Johnson, our chief engineer, and I are available along with the finance director to answer any questions.
Any questions of staff? Action from council?
I'd like to introduce the resolution, and I also want to say that I think this is so exciting that we're moving on, and I can hardly wait till it's done. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have one question. When do we think it's going to be finished?
December. Our target date is December 23rd.
Wow, okay, great.
For the city's network.
So the city will have, for the public, the city will have a new phone system.
Correct.
And when will the department be taking on new commercial customers?
At the first of the year, we'll begin selling that product.
Okay. Resolution has been called for. Roll call, please.
Councilmember O'Connell.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Councilmember Ibera.
Aye.
Mayor Frantella.
Aye. Item E, receive and accept the annual report on development impact fees for the year ended June 30th, 2009. Mr. O'Leary.
Let me out of here. I'm not talking.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, most cities, including San Bruno, impose various fees on developers that partially defray the costs for public improvements related to these new developments. In some instances, these fees fall under the 1998 Mitigation Fee Act, which is referred to as Assembly Bill 1600. AB 1600 requires or includes requirements for accounting for development fees, for reporting to the council and to the public on both the receipt of these fees and the use of the funds, and in some instances returning funds when they have been in the city's possession for more than 5 years and not used by the jurisdiction. The report that you have in front of you tonight for the 2008-9 year includes 5 development type fees that the City of San Bruno collects, 3 of which come under the direct requirements of AB 1600. That's our water capacity charge and the wastewater capacity charge, and also our traffic and development impact fee collected related to the work that was done at the Sneath-El Camino intersection a number of years ago. For full disclosure and to provide the council and the public with complete information, there are 2 additional development fees that are collected that don't come under the exact reporting requirements of AB 1600 and are exempt in particular from the 5-year requirement for the use of the funds. And those 2 are our park and lieu fees and our BMR, our below market rate housing in lieu fee. The development fees the city has received over the past 5 years are detailed in the various schedules in your agenda packet. Basically, these schedules show when the development fees have been collected over the past 5 years, the projects these fees have been spent on, and the balance of unspent funds that are currently on hand related to that particular fee and fund. I have summarized those 5 fees and shown for 0809 the beginning balance, revenue received during the year, expenditures of those funds during that fiscal year, and the ending balance. And I just may make a couple of comments. The water and wastewater capacity charges are always or very generally collected in tandem for both water and wastewater, and in this particular instance in 0809, the Summerhill development paid all the revenue for the water and wastewater charges, and the relative relationship between the revenues collected is simply based on the size of the fee for those 2, that the wastewater charge is greater than the capacity charge for water. The expenditure during the year for wastewater capacity charge is related to the Rollingwood Relief Sewer, and that is the project that the money was spent on. For the traffic and development impact fee, it looks different than the others because we're showing negative numbers. The beginning balance and the ending balance are both negative numbers, and the reason this is different, most development fees are collected and then the work is done on the work is done later in use of those fees. In this particular instance, this is a receivable from the shops at Tanforan, their required payment related to the improvements again at Sneath and El Camino. That work was all done in advance. The city, in fact, fronted the money, and the City Council approved a deferral of that fee for several years. That is being paid with interest, and the $468,000 is what the city collected both in fee amount and interest on that deferred amount. That receivable will be fully collected by November of 2010, so there's actually one more year the city will be collecting that. The Park and Loo and the BMR fees were again both collected from Summerhill, and just might comment that you see the large balance related to BMR and Lou fees. There are an additional about $1.5 million in our redevelopment low and moderate income housing fund for affordable housing also. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions the council has.
Any questions of staff? Not action to accept the report?
For the resolution.
No motion.
Motion.
Second?
So moved.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 12, comments from council members.
Through the chair.
Councilmember Medina?
Just very quickly, I wanted just to take the opportunity to thank Robert for his service with the Mosquito Abatement District and his willingness and commitment for another 4 years appointment. Thank you for the work that you do in keeping us informed. It's appreciated.
Ditto. Any other comments from council? There is no closed session this evening. We would like, in closing the meeting, to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving and the upcoming holiday. And on just a bit of a sad note is we'd like to close this evening's meeting in memory of Dale Sly, who was very active in creating the senior center that we have here today and worked on the senior council and served for a number of years, and lived in Parkview Terrace for the past 53 years and passed away last week at the age of 90 years old. So if we could have a moment of silence in memory of Dale. Thank you. With that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. To the special meeting that will be held December 1st here at the San Bernardino City Council.